Hey, shalom, shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders, the apostles of Great Millstone. Blessings and salutation to the hopeful elect. Noise in the gospel, broad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. It's the Akia Mahalaya coming back with another lesson. Lord's will to be edifying. This is titled, it says, Biggest Shock of Our Lifetime. It says, Mike Adams says massive food shortages are coming, an explosive interview of Liberty and Finance. Now, I haven't seen the video on here, but I'm sure it's probably in a link. One thing about these natural news, they bring out a lot of information. Now, whether this guy Mike Adams is an insider or not, which is very well possible, nonetheless, he brings out good information because a lot of these Edomites, man, they have intel to inside sources that brings out this information. And then, we filter these things through the scriptures because that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to filter end time events through the scriptures to prove the fidelity of the scriptures. Okay. That's how you break down the precepts as well. And that's the job of the prophets. All right. So without further delay, it says Natural News founder and editor Mike Adams, the health ranger, has predicted a massive wave of food shortages in the very near future amid the still collapsing global and domestic supply chains crisis that is getting worse thanks to spiking gas and diesel fuel prices brought on by Joe Biden's anti-fuel policies. Okay, so in the midst of all this, right, now you would think that people's expenses and their spending will decrease because, people need to save for a rainy day. But instead, you still got bills coming out. Okay, you still got Title 4D, that's Horizon Brothers. Okay, even Edomites. Okay, you still got guys that's behind in taxes and all the above. So with that being said, they're squeezing out people's ability to live because regardless of the type of bills and the type of hardships people are faced with, they're going to still have to pay those things off. Like, let's say if there's no food, the cost of living goes up, but they're not going to stop child support. They're not going to stop paying back taxes. They're not going to stop levies and so forth. So people are getting ready to lose their minds, man, because they're being pretty much squeezed by a wicked system, because this is clearly a wicked system. Okay, this system is wicked as all hell, and this is why we pray to the Lord every day to destroy it. When these things, we don't have to worry about it anymore, because in the kingdom of heaven, we're not going to worry about global supply chains. We're not going to worry about we're not going to worry about child support. We're not going to worry about famine. We're not going to worry about working a 9-to-5 job, waking up tired and beat down. We're not going to worry about how to roommate with people, though we're going to have palaces. People going to live there with us, but it's going to be all good. It's not going to be a burden for somebody to have to move in with you, because all the resources we're going to have is going to be pretty much set up for us. So the kingdom of heaven is going to be just a perfect utopia. No worry, no hardships, no nothing. It's going to be all good. But for you other nations, it's going to be business as usual. All right. But it says the food scarcity is real and it's going to get a lot worse. It says the food supply chain is in a late state of collapse. It says the late state. Okay. So that means a lot. And these Edomites, man, they feel it. They feeling it, man. And this is the reason why they come to work pissed off. Like, I'm working with this crackpot now, and he went into the office, and I'm like, let me get the key. You should have seen the look he just gave me. I kind of just looked at him like, and just like, yeah, nigga, I know you feeling the burn. But see, these Edomites, man, they like to control the narrative. You see, they like to always be in control because they're losing control, But one thing about this devil, he has no control. So that's one reason why he's overly aggravated, and plus he's losing his society, so good for him. I like to see you fucking devils. Now what we've been feeling for 500 plus years. Now you know what it's like to be on the bottom. Good for you. But they're going to lose it. Okay, eventually they're going to lose it, and they're going to start going after Jake, because at the end of the day, you got some Jakes that's still out here doing good, that's still getting by through the, provision of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. But Esau don't have that protection of the Lord as far as on a righteous aspect. You see what I'm saying? So when he falls, he has nobody to block him. Satan is not even going to bail him out of this because, hey, Satan works for the Most High. Okay? But it says here, the supply chain is in a late state of collapse. And he told the Liberty and Finance podcast early this month. It says, but don't panic, added Adams. Get prepared. This is going to be the biggest shock of our lifetime. And, hey, they're saying it's coming from the horse's mouth. And these articles be on point, man. Okay, because like we said, we gonna go to the stores and it ain't gonna be shit there. Where you people gonna go to the stores and it ain't gonna be none there for you. But the scriptures say my servants shall eat. So we're not really worried about it. But at the same time, brothers, you got to be a little wiser now. We can't just be spending recklessly on things that we want to gratify the deeds of the flesh. You got to start thinking wise, man. Okay, do I need this you got to prioritize your needs versus your wants. You may want that, but what do you need? You may want a case of water, but at the same time, you may want to go here. You may want to go see that new movie or whatever, something like that. Or you may want that new TV or something like that. At the end of the day, it's not profitable, man. What's going to survive you or what's going to give you the power to sustain for a tad bit longer, the water or the television. You may want to get the new Call of Duty or some shit. You can't get it right now because you got to think about the long term, man. So it's about responsibility and prioritizing, because most of us, we're not going to have disposable income anymore. As you see, our paychecks are getting a lot shorter, and things are going up. Okay, Jake is willing to go above and beyond, just a matter of convenience, but even then it's still a roadblock in that. But it says here, but don't panic at Adams, get prepared. This is going to be the biggest shock of our lifetimes. But he went on to say that as a food scientist and hardcore prepper, he has long advocated for people to achieve as much as self-sufficiency as possible, noting it will be needed in the coming months and perhaps years. Wow. It says we really advocated for the skills to grow your own food for many reasons. But if you look at the way that they're buying up the farms, okay, they're buying out farmers. They're telling them what seeds to use, what type of, you still confiscate their particular grains and seeds. And you tell them use the ready Roundup, or you burning down factories or processing plants that distribute the food to the stores, etc. How can people grow their own farms or grow their own food when you live in an apartment? I mean, yeah, you could have a garden and shit, but even then, this is the reason why Bill Gates is buying up all this land in America, because ultimately they don't want any farming. They don't want any type of independence or agriculture independence, man. They don't want anybody being independent. So therefore, they want to build on every land that they see because they want everybody to be on the grid. They don't want you to be able to grow your own food because, hey, that's the problem now. This is the reason why processing plants and farmers are committing suicide, man, because they don't want these people to be self-sustained. Because back in the day, farming was highly lucrative. You can get by with a few things. You got your own cattle. You can slaughter your own cattle. And shit, you got meat for 6 months to a year. You know what I'm saying? So you would never really go hungry. You got food just reserved. You see what I'm saying? You got chickens. You got a couple of pigs on the farm, which to clean the farm, you're not going to eat the pig. But, you got your farm out there. Cattle, bison. You got your pig, got your chickens, man. They produce the eggs. The cows for the milk. Got a couple of goats for milk. But now they're trying to do away with all that. Okay? That's why, growing your own food, it sounds good. But shit, I mean, right now it's almost too late because, like I said, man, they don't want that. And they're going to come and take you if you do that. But it says, he said, adding, until recently, garden was more of an expense rather than an investment. It says now as food inflation continues to increase rapidly under Biden and the Democratic congressional majority and could double within the next year, suddenly gardening is an investment. And when you can grow red peppers or green peppers that otherwise might cost $5 or even $10 at the grocery store in the coming months, gardening pays off. That is true. It says, but later the subject turned into the cratering supply chain, which is leaving independent nations, including the U.S., vulnerable. Complex supply chains are highly vulnerable to systematic collapse, which is systematic. They're doing it on purpose. But we're seeing in this food supply chain, even domestically, in the form of limited supplies of baby formula, which that's going to hurt a lot of you women. Jeremiah 32. For instance, he went on to say that the current global shortages of fertilizer and diesel fuel prices, which are nearly 3 times per gallon higher than they were when President Donald Trump left office, and they're only going to make food supplies tighter and thus more expensive, as his own business has experienced. It says, we used to be able to enter 1-year-long contracts with farmer co-ops in the United States and around the world, but that ended about a year ago on the tail end of the lockdowns, Adams explained. And they began to say we could only guarantee supplies for 90 days, and then terms started to change across the board. Okay, so they're showing you right here that we're on we're on the brink of collapse, and this is actually prophesied in the scriptures. This is Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai bringing judgment on America, man. Okay, so you 2/3 Israelites out there, you gonna get caught up in this too. Okay, because you're not paying attention to the signs that the Most High is imposing through the prophets. We're out here speaking these things, and therefore they're coming to pass. All right. So this is the book of Ezekiel 6, and I'm gonna start at verses. This started 10. It says, "And they should know that I am the Lord, and I have not said in vain that I would do this evil unto them." Okay, and this is going into you tribes, but evil is coming upon the whole world, because this is an evil, dark time we're living in. When you're seeing the countenance of people change, okay, people are literally on edge to the point you can go to work and shootout happens, man. People come in and blow the boss away. But see, what's so crazy about it is people are going after the people that seemingly oppressing them, because yeah, your job does oppress you. But what about, let's take it up a step. What about the Title 4D? What about Congress? What about the senators? What about the state's legislator? What about all this? What about the people that's oppressing you through the child support and the IRS system? Warn you people finding them and cracking their heads open, man, because they're depriving you of resources too, when they're just extorting you for money for nothing. You know, because all the money you're paying in taxes and child support, or whether you're getting sued, alimony, divorce, all that money is going to these fucking these politicians, man. Okay, to these presidents, to these judges, these lawyers. They're basically taking money out of your pocket and they're putting it up for a rainy day so they can feed off your back. So therefore, the sheeple, or the goyim, which is the people, you can never convince to be financially stable. It will never happen here. And that's the whole plan. You ain't got money, or you don't come from a family of money and goods and trust funds, you can forget about it. You're going to be a man that's struggling to barely make ends meet. And that's how Esau wants it. So this is done on purpose. But it says here, "Thus says the Lord Yahweh, smite with thy hand and stamp with thy foot, and say alas for all the evil abominations of the house of Israel. For they shall fall by the sword and by the famine and by the pestilence," man, okay? And we're on the brink of famine, if we're not already in it. Pestilence, okay? They're talking about the new monkeypox. First it was the bird, you know what. Now the monkey shit, okay? First it was the black bubonic, or the black plague that was out there in Colorado. You haven't heard too much about that. But now all of a sudden you got these different multiplying versions or variants of this C19 nonsense. And the list goes on. So that's a pestilence. Okay, and all that's used to disrupt the food supply chains, man, to break down the economy. Because we already said that C19 and the whole imposing of lockdowns was just a mask to hide what was already going to be the problem. Okay, and they blamed it on the war, and they blamed it on the C19. That was a systematic ploy to put in place to blame the collapse of society on these variants, man. And that's clearly not the case. This has been going on before this whole ordeal came to manifest itself in 2020. So they was like, you know what? Let's come up with a plan that we can use to hide the real collapse. So therefore, people won't come after us from ripping them off, but they can blame it on some quote unquote supernatural, which is a man-made thing. Okay, that's what they did. That's what Esau did. And this is why the people are pretty much bypassing them, and they're blaming each other. When in fact, the people that's oppressing you is the people that sits right in your fucking White Houses. And then the people you don't see, the elites, the one that owns the banking cartels, that owns the IRS. They own Amoco, Shell. Okay, these bankers, man, they own the nations, the countries, the lands, the deeds. These are the people that's causing everything to be all jacked up. But you don't see them, because why? They're considered a shadow government. Okay, and it says here, "He that is afar off should die of the pestilence, and he that is near shall fall by the sword." That means in the cities. "And he that remaineth and it says, "And he that remaineth is besieged shall die by the famine." Okay, because the cities are going to be besieged. The cities are going to be pretty much conquered and taken over. So nobody gets in, nobody gets out. All right, and they're going to starve people out. And it says, "Thus will I accomplish my fury upon them," man. Okay, so when you go into this word besiege, all right, we're going to get the definition of it. It goes into the word nashar, which means to guard, to watch over, to keep. Like when the Romans came in and sacked Jerusalem in 67 AD, they besieged the cities. They locked us in. Well, the ones of us that escaped, okay, we went to Europe, Northern Africa, West Africa, etc. We was dispersed into the four corners. But overall, those are the Israelites that were trapped back in the land. They died of starvation. Okay, it says to watch, to guard, to preserve, guard from dangers, to keep, observe, guard with fidelity, to guard, keep secret, to be kept close, to blockade, to watchmen. Okay, besiege, man. Okay, and this is what Esau Edom is doing. He's going to besiege the cities. and it's going to go into it in the article. Okay. But it says here, the supply chain crisis is also hitting the transportation sector. Okay, it says shares of container stocks have been under immense pressure since late March. And as the entire industry reveals or reacts to events worldwide, including the economic fallout caused by the sanctions placed upon Russia and the Wuhan lockdowns in China. But it says despite the pressure, the stocks of the dry bulk and tanker companies then experienced a downward turn until last week, coinciding with the economic forecast downgrade by the International Monetary Fund and worsening news about the economic situation in China. But Simon Heaney, senior manager from container research with consulting from Drewry, warned that the short-term and long-term unpredictability in the shipping industry was the most extreme it has been in his 20 years work of the industry. It says congestion and supply chain issues are currently the number one market driver and have been for 2 years of the you-know-what. It says a logistics capacity was stripped at a time of high demand, and as long as the inefficiency is still there, carriers will continue to profit. But the question is, how long would it last? It says eventually things will normalize, and if you kick away the pillar, the market fundamentals are not quite as strong. Okay, so that's the point. But it says when cities cease to function, there you go. That's that matter of when, not if. But it says here, when cities cease to function, I'm going to highlight that. And this is true throughout the history of the world, people die. From preventable diseases, this is what we just read in Ezekiel. Preventable diseases and coming into contact with untreated waste, right? Because when the cities break down, I always go into how you ain't going to have any solid waste people coming to collect your solids, man. You know, you ain't going to have anybody running these processing or these poop plants or these shit factories, so to speak. You know, the sanitation systems. Nobody's going to be running a big pump downtown to pretty much flush all the bio and bacteria and the waste out into the river or into these particular ducts that they recycle. Everything is going to bag up and it's going to halt. So the cities are going to be completely broken down. You know, people are going to pretty much go to try to look for fresh supply of water. Like they say, the freshest water in the house is the toilet water because it constantly flushes, which I don't know, man. I'm not drinking out no goddamn toilet bowl. You know what I'm saying? But regardless of that, when they continue to flush the toilets and you have anybody at the pumping stations or the landfill stations, that shit is going to bag up into your house. All the sewage, all the shit that they've been pumping, that's going to bag up in people's homes, man. Okay, so the Lord is going to break this system all the way down. And it's going to be all hell breaking loose. Because you American people, you're too entitled. Okay, but it says, come in contact with untreated waste, he said, noting that he encouraged people to stock up on items like hydrogen peroxide, isopropyl alcohol to maintain hygiene. All right. As a matter of fact, I'm going to actually watch this. I'm going to put this in the links description. I'm not going to play it, though. I'm going to see if I can put this link in the description that you brothers can watch it. Because Lord's will, I'll watch this video today. Because he goes into some good information on this, man. And I encourage brothers to really, you know, get into this natural news stuff. This is some good information. You know. Let's go back to the precepts here. All right, so let's go back to the book of Ezekiel 6. And it says, he that is afar off shall die of the pestilence, and he that is near shall fall by the sword, and he that remaineth is besieged shall die by the famine. Thus I will accomplish my fury upon them. Okay, and this is the Lord speaking it. Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is not going to hold any punches back this time, man. Okay, the Lord said, I've been long withholding my peace, but now I should devour it at once, man. Okay, I should scream like a travailing woman and devour it at once. So, hey, man, brothers, we got to make sure we are in the good graces of the Lord, because these people, they're getting ready to get jacked up out here. Okay, from the least to the greatest of them, man. All the people that's ever gave us problems and disrespect us, guess what? They're getting ready to suffer greatly. So, hey, call halal Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. Okay, this is the book of Lamentations 4. And I'm going to start. This whole chapter is good. This is the book of Lamentations 4:4. It says, the tongue of the suckling child cleaveth to the roof of his mouth for thirst. Okay, you got this breast milk shortage, but I saw a video yesterday out there in Mexico that pretty much in Mexico that damn, I just lost my train of thought. That they don't have a baby shortage of formula. You know what I'm saying? They don't have it. And it says, the tongue of the suckling child cleaving into the roof of his mouth for thirst, and the young children ask bread, and no man breaketh it into them. That they did feed delicately are desolate in the streets, and they that were bought into the scarlet embrace dunghills. It says, but for the punishment of the iniquity of the daughter of my people is greater than the punishment of the sin of Sodom, that was overthrown in a moment, with no hand slayed on her. And her Nazarites were purer than snow, and they were whiter than milk, and they were more ruddy in bodies than rubies. Man, their polishing was of sapphire, and their visage was blacker than coal, and they are not known in the streets, and their skin cleaving into their bones, and it is withered and become like a stick, right? Because our people are famished, going into our condition. Okay, and it says, and they that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. It says, for the pine away stricken throughout for the one of the fruits of the field. Okay. 10, the hands of the pitiful women have sought their own children, and they were their meat in the destruction of the daughter of my people. Okay. It says, the Lord have accomplished the fury of his fury, and he have poured out his fierce anger, and he have kindled a fire in Zion, and it have devoured the foundations thereof. Right. Okay. The anger of the Lord is going to be kindled against these people. Okay, because they're not paying attention to the signs. And on top of that, because they're pride. And Yahweh Shai has a alt with these people, starting with the 2/3 of his own people, starting with a lot of you people that know you're Israelites. Okay. So anyway, this 2 Esdras 8:50, it says, for as many great miseries should be done to them that in the latter time should dwell in the world, because they have walked with great pride. Right. You know, you people are prideful. You take pride in your jobs, your careers, your $1 million mansions, man. You know, in your suits and ties, your candlelight dinners. You know, some Edomites can have dinner or have breakfast in France, have lunch in Luxembourg, and then, hey, they can be back in Spain for dinner and back in the United States the next day. You know, so it's getting ready to fall down regardless. Okay, but understand thou for thyself and seek out the glory for such that be like thee. Okay, it says, for paradise is unto you is paradise open, and the tree of life is planted, and the time to come is prepared, and plenteousness is made ready, and a city is builded, and rest is allowed. Yea, perfect goodness and wisdom. That's right, man. Okay, rest will be allowed. Okay, but other than this, these people getting ready to be fucking broken down. Okay, verse 57. It says here, 56. It says, for when they had taken liberty, they despised the Most High, and thought scorn of his law, and forsook his ways. Oh, that's too oppressive. I can't dress modest. I don't want, that's not me. It says, but moreover, they have trodden down his righteous, which is the prophets, and said in their heart, there is no power. Yea, and knowing that they must die. For as things said or foresaid shall receive you, so thirst and pain are prepared for them. For it was not his will that men should come to naught, but they which be created have defiled the name of him that made them, and were unthankful to him with prepared life for them. So, hey, and now therefore my judgment is now at hand. So, hey, Yahweh Shai, man, is getting ready to open up on you people. Okay, and I'm trying to find that precept when the scriptures say that it be many that perish. This world is for many, but the world to come is for very few. Find that real quick. Let me find that. Life perish. Yep. 2 Esdras 7:20. The water. All right. So last precept here, it says 2 Esdras 7:20. It says, for there be many that perish in this life, because they despise the law of the Most High. Okay, that is set before them. Okay, but that's not really the one I wanted. But it says world for many. Yep, 2 Esdras 8:1. The water. It says, and he answered me, saying, the Most High have made this world for many, but the world to come for few. Okay. It says, I will tell thee a similitude, Esdras, as when thou askest the earth, it shall say to thee that it giveth much thereof. Earthen vessels are made, but little dust that gold cometh of. Even so the course of this present world. So there be many created, but few shall be saved. Okay. But anyway, I'm going to end it there, brothers, giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Shai. And with that, Shalom and the Baba Ball.